The serial rapist Malcolm Rewa will face a third trial for the murder of Susan Burdett. Rewa is serving a 22-year prison sentence for the rape of more than 20 women, but despite his DNA being found at the scene of the crime and his conviction for her rape, two juries failed to reach verdicts on whether Rewa murdered Ms Burdett. The Attorney General issued a stay 20 years ago, meaning no further prosecution of Rewa would go ahead. But following Taina Pora's convictions being quashed by the Privy Council, the Attorney General effectively lifted the stay. Rewa's lawyer challenged that decision in the High Court. Our court reporter, our excellent court reporter here in Auckland, Edward Gay, has been looking into the case and is beside me in the studios. So what's the High Court said, Eddie?
Well, Rewa's lawyer challenged the Attorney General's right to lift a stay in the first place, and he said the Attorney General should actually be applying through the court. But Justice Venning today, the Chief High Court Judge, he ruled that there was no procedural bar to lifting a stay for the Attorney General. The judge said that the Attorney General was exercising a prerogative power and there was no reason for an application to the court. He found that while the decision to lift a stay could be reviewed by the court, he declined to review this particular decision.
Right, thank you, Eddie. Now, we should say that this is now sub judice and the fair trial rules apply, but there's also an insight into why the Attorney General wants to try Rewa for a third time, right?
That's right, and this stay was lifted after Taina Pora's convictions for the murder were quashed, and Mr Pora was wrongfully convicted based on a false confession, and those convictions were quashed by the Privy Council back in 2015. And the Attorney General's reasons for mounting a third trial are actually set out in Justice Venning's decision. I guess it's a rare insight into that document's actually set out in full.
That's available online, is it? Or you can.
Yes, it is actually. Yeah. It is available on the court site.
It'd be a fascinating read. Yeah.
Essentially, the Attorney General said that after Mr Pora's convictions were quashed, no one has been held accountable for the murder, and there was sufficient evidence to support the murder charge against Rewa. The Attorney General also said there was public interest in an offender being held accountable for the murder, and Justice Venning said there was no evidence before the court that amounted to bad faith on the part of the Attorney General. He said although third trials are rare, and they're extremely rare, they have happened in the past in New Zealand.
Right, so what happens now?
Well, the case comes back to the High Court next month, where Rewa's lawyer is expected to notify the court on whether there are any pre-trial applications. That, of course, could include an application to dismiss the prosecution, but otherwise a trial has been set down for 8 weeks, beginning in February next year.
Gosh. Edward Gay, thank you very much indeed, Eddie. All of that coming out this afternoon.